Hello, 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 and welcome. I'm excited to be here today. I'm going to talk about your energy, why it's important to understand your energy, what are energy blocks, and how it impacts your well-being. And then what can you do when you know that you have blocked energy, or maybe you have energy attached to you from another person? Now, most people think about energy as I either have high energy or low energy. Someone knows that they feel good around somebody, or they know that they don't feel good around someone. But a lot of people don't understand how your energy is impacted every day and how this impact really can shape and shift how you go through your day and how you feel about yourself and what you're doing or who you're connecting with. So today I thought I would share with you some of what's in this paper that I wrote a while ago to really just give people some fundamentals about your own energy. When I started to do this work, I had no idea what my mentor was telling me when he kept talking about energy. Like all I knew was, oh, I'm a high level energy. I'm a high level person. I love to do a lot. I get a lot done, and I'm never tired. And so that's what I had in my mind, only to find out it's a very, very, very different concept. When we think about our own personal energy, what we are really thinking about is how a soul feeding us the energy that we have available to do what we're supposed to be doing here on the planet and while we're in these bodies. And is soul able to flow enough energy to us so that we can inhabit what we're supposed to be doing? And then the final thing is what gets in the way of soul being able to give us more energy. So, one of the things that I like to speak into is all the different ways that our energy gets impacted. So, first, let's just talk about it. One thing is that every day when we wake up, if we're waking up with energy, that means that at night while we were asleep, we were aligned with our spirit because our spirit like feeds us throughout the night. And once we get fed, we wake up with a surplus of energy, maybe some focus, maybe some excitement about what we're doing, or a desire to do something new. I was talking to one of my clients yesterday, and she said, God, I woke up and the first thing I started to do was write this poetry. It like just came through me. And when she showed it to me, she had two poems, and she said, this is something I don't usually do, but like it was just being fed. Each of these poems were so powerful, and really what was coming out of the messaging was actually what she was working on to transform in her life, giving voice to what was sort of buried inside. So I talked earlier about what happens when soul can't connect to us, can't feed us that life source energy that allows us to be all that we want to be. And what usually happens is because we have a lot of energetic blocks in our bodies as well as our field. Now, some people are asking, so what is energetic blocks? Like, what are they? When we stuff down experiences, say we've had a trauma or we had an experience that wasn't very happy for us, or we just want to forget it. Like maybe you got fired from a job, or somebody yelled at you, or somebody shared something really negative about you, and you don't want to look at it. Then what you do is you take all that energy that came to you and you literally just push it down within your body, masking it, forgetting that it's there because you don't want to have a connection to what was the experience or what was said to you. And so when we take those incidences of either hearing something, being told something, or having an experience that was traumatic for us, and we push it down, what happens over time as we live our lives is that we have more and more of these energy blocks within our body. Each of these energy blocks stop the life force energy from flowing through you. And so at night, when soul's trying to give you energy, what can be happening is it comes in through your energetic field, and then it just ends. It just stops. It can't move through your body. When I teach this in classes, one of the first things I say is think about a time when you had a situation or an experience that didn't feel good to you. And just take a minute and literally think about it. Now, what I want you to do is breathe into your body and tell me what feels tight in your body. And most people will say, oh, my chest, my arms, they'll pick someplace on their body. That's where the energy block is. So if you're wondering, do I have any energy blocks? A really great thing to do is to take a moment, breathe into your body, connect to an experience or an event or maybe something that somebody had said to you that you didn't process, that there was a way in which you didn't want to look at it, and just connect with that experience. And then once you connect with that experience, then take a deep breath and feel how your body feels. Feel where there might be constriction or tightness. That's usually where you're holding a block or two or many. Now, the other thing that creates energy blocks for us from receiving our life force energy from our soul, and in this life force energy, again, is what's our purpose here? Why did we come here? It's inspiration for us. It's creativity. It's opportunities and possibilities so that we can see from a bigger, broader perspective that our soul sees. So what else gets in the way is when we have negative thoughts. When we have these thoughts that sort of spiral us right down the rabbit hole. I come up against some of these thoughts when I play tennis, and if I'm playing a really good team and they're just like starting to kill us, or I'll start going down the little rabbit hole, like, oh my God, I'm playing over my head. These people are too good. I'll never beat them. But because I'm now aware of that, I end up stopping myself from going down that rabbit hole and shifting my relationship to what is going on that court. So rather than feel like the intimidation or overwhelmed by what's happening, I start to focus on me because I can only manage my own thoughts. I can't manage somebody else's thoughts. So I will start to say to yourself, all you're going to do now is just play this next point. Just get the ball in play and hit as many balls as you can back to the person. That's it. That's all. It's not about winning the point. It's not about winning the game. It's just playing the ball. When I do that for myself, it sort of calms everything down. And then I have more of an openness to see the ball, like not be in my head thinking, oh my God, they're going to hit this ball so hard back, I'll never be able to get it. All I'm looking for is to see and connect with the ball. And what that does is over time, it starts to turn my game around because I'm not worried, I'm not trying too hard, I'm not overhitting. All I want to do is get that ball back in play time and time again. And I wait for the other team to hopefully make some mistakes. So that's like the mental mindset shift I'll do when I notice I'm going down the rabbit hole. Now, I know that shift because I get to experience it once a week, right? Every time I'm on the tennis court, I'm either telling myself to be more aggressive or I'm telling myself, just breathe and play this next ball. It doesn't matter, right? Like there's some things that we tell ourselves. What happens though is that if we are approached with something and we don't catch where our mind is going, and we create these thoughts, I can't do this, I can't get it done, it's too overwhelming, it's too much for me. All of that energy, every thought we have goes out into the field and creates tiny little blocks. And these tiny little blocks get bigger and bigger and bigger based on how many times you've had that thought. How many times in a day, how many times in a month, how many times do you show up? One of my daughters always says, I'm so stressed, I'm so stressed. And I'm like, please stop saying that, because every time you say that, what you're really doing is pulling stress to you. Start holding life as something else than I'm so stressed. And she's been working on it and shifting it. And I'm not sure what it's doing for her yet, but what I notice is she seems lighter to me every time I connect with her. So these are ways that energy blocks get created, either within our bodies or within the field. And when I say the energy field, what I'm really talking about is that energy field between you and where your soul resides. And whatever is in the way in that field, that blocks soul from being able to give you energy. And my Energy 101 teaching, I have a picture of a river, because I think this river, the metaphor of it is so good, because it's like watching water compounding down a river. And then there's all these boulders. And every time the water hits the boulders, it separates, it splits, it goes off, it creates new channels. And thus it dilutes the power of that flow of the energy. It's the same idea when you have a lot of energetic blocks in your field. It dilutes what the soul can give you in terms of energy, in terms of inspiration, in terms of knowledge, in terms of wisdom, in terms of possibility. So these are two really fundamental ways that our energy gets impacted by us. The third way that it gets impacted is by others. It's when we give our power away to believe what others are thinking or saying about us. Because the minute somebody thinks or says something that's negative or not supportive to you, and if you believe it, your energy is going to drain. Because now the mental model of how you hold yourself gets fractured. Because now you believe whatever this other person is saying. And when we give our power away, and some people, I have clients that give it away on a silver platter. They give it away to certain people, they give it away to certain authorities, they give it away when they're feeling insecure, and they believe everything that's coming at them. And that is really, really difficult, because now you're living in reaction to what everybody else is saying or thinking or communicating to you. And you don't want to go through life living in reaction, waiting for somebody to say something. Because the moment you do that, you go, shoot, your power leaves you, and you stop believing whatever the person has said or done or believes about you, which then leaves you ungrounded in your own sense of your own energy. Now, it's impossible not to be impacted sometimes by different things that come up for us. But the most important thing is that when you really believe or let somebody else's thought really impact you, that you get to say, no, I'm not going to buy that. I'm going to keep my power. I'm going to breathe in, and I'm going to have my own vision of who I am in this world and how I am being. The power of doing this happens when you have clarity around who you are, around your own worthiness, around the fact that you deserve to have whatever it is that you are choosing to live. Then it becomes easy for us to discount what others are saying. It becomes easy for us to hold our own power, even in the face of maybe something not feeling so good. So I hope that you take a minute tonight, the next day, whenever you're watching this, and thank you, so many of you who have been watching these videos. I want you to take a minute and think about the three things I talked about. One is, how often do you stuff down your emotions and your feelings or situations that don't feel good to you? The second is, what's your mind talk like? Do you give yourself the negative Nelly talk? I have a lot of clients that are the most optimistic, bright light people for everyone. They see them in their full potential, except they don't see themselves that way. So what you really owe to yourself is seeing you in your best light, seeing you in your grand bigness, in your soul's light. Because if you can see that, then soul can deliver so much more to you. And then the third is then look at who you might be giving your power to. And then how does that make you feel? And one of the things that you can do is attract all that power back to you. I call it, you go fishing for your power. So, when I first started doing this exercise years ago, oh my God, I had to fish every day to go get my power back. I was working in a high-tech company. It was mostly these engineers, mostly men that were a lot older than me. And they all had their preconceived ideas of who I was and their perspective. And at first I would buy into it. And then at one point I'm like, well, this is bullshit. Like, this is bullshit. I'm no longer going to buy into what their view is of me. Like, I'm here because my boss believed in me. So I'm going to act from that place. I'm going to believe in myself. And so I used to go fishing for my power, whoever I gave it to, and I would bring it back to me. And when I say fishing, it really is. It's like you go to a line and you reel it in, and you imagine your power coming right back to you and being fully connected to you. All right, I hope this has been really helpful. There's so much more that I want to talk about around this. And if after you listen to this, you have some questions for me, please post them. I'm happy to get back to you. This is so fundamental in our ability to do the work that we're meant to do, in our ability to be our most powerful selves in the world. All right, everyone, have a fantastic day.